Alright YouTube, it's your favorite chef, Chef G, and I'm back in the kitchen. Today we are preparing a honey garlic roasted pork loin. I did some homemade mashed potatoes. You can do that. I have that in another video, so go check that out. And I'm going to do some roasted carrots. So for your pork, you're going to need rosemary, paprika, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. So first of all, I'm going to season my pork loin generously on all sides with all of my seasoning. And then I'm going to go in and take it to a saute pan. And I'm going to sear it on all sides. And then we're going to put it in the oven to roast at 375 for about an hour. Okay, so I've seasoned one side of my pork with all of my seasoning. I started with the fat side. You want to keep that fat on just so it renders down and keeps your pork nice and moist as it's roasting in the oven. So I'm just going to flip it over. Make sure you also pat your seasoning in so it sticks and you don't lose it in the process of cooking. Alright, we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the other side with the same seasonings all the way around, even on the ends as well. So make sure you get your ends. Alright, as you can see, my pork loin is nice and seasoned, even on my ends, all around, on the sides, top and bottom. So we're going to take this over to the stove where I'm preheating my saute pan with about 4 tablespoons of olive oil, where we're going to sear it just to get a nice crust on the outside to help in the development of the flavor of this pork loin. And then we're going to put it in a roasting pan with some large cut onion. It's about a half an onion, 1 carrot cut on the bias or on a diagonal, and 1 celery stalk cut on a diagonal as well. Then we're going to get it into the oven, 375 for about an hour. Alright, we have our oil nice and hot. So we're going to start with our fat side first. So fat side down. I'm going to cook on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's nicely golden brown on the outside, so we can get ready to put it into our oven to be roasted. Alright, so we have our pork ready to be flipped. You can see that nice golden color. That's what you're looking for. So you're going to do that on all 6 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the ends as well. Get them nice and golden brown, and then we're going to throw it in our roasting pan. Alright, we're getting the last side of our pork seared. So we're going to go ahead and get this sauce made that we're going to be brushing over our pork loin. So I have some Dijon mustard. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that. I have some minced garlic. Let me get that open. I probably should have already had this open before. Alright. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that as well. We're going to do some soy sauce. So we have some soy sauce. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. Let's go with 4 tablespoons of that soy. And then we have our honey. And we're going to go in here with 2 tablespoons of honey. And we're just going to get that mixed up. We're going to pour some of this over our pork loin right before we put it into the oven. And then about halfway through, we'll put the other half on and allow it to finish cooking. Okay, so let me go grab that pork loin so we can get it sauced. All right, as you see, you can see my onions, carrots, and celery along the bottom of my roasting pan. This is to help during the roasting process for the air or the heat to circulate to the bottom of the pork. But it also adds a flavor that I'm going to be using in my gravy once my pork loin is done. So I'll be making a small pan gravy with the drippings from the bottom of this pan. And these onions, carrots, and celery are going to add into that flavor. Okay, so make sure you have your fat side of your pork loin up so it renders down and keeps it nice and moist. We're going to go ahead and layer some of our sauce. We're going to do about half of our sauce over the top of our pork loin so we can get it into the oven. And if you need to make more sauce, you feel like you need to make more sauce, you can just add to what you have left and make more. Okay? This is looking good already, y'all. I got my mouth watering. It smells delicious, and I haven't even cooked it all the way. I just got it seared on the outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and use all of this, and then I'll make another little mix for the pork when I get ready to put it on about halfway. So 375 in your oven. Make sure it's preheated for 30 minutes. Then we're going to take it out. We're going to kind of baste it with our juices, add a little bit more sauce, and then back into the oven for about 30 more minutes. Depending on your oven, it may be a little longer or less. Okay? But you judge it. You want the internal temperature to be 145 to 150 degrees internal for this pork loin. All right, into the oven we go. So we'll be back. All right, so it's been 30 minutes. I added 1 cup of water to this to kind of help make a stock in the bottom of it. I have a little bit more of my sauce that I'm going to drizzle over my pork. And then I'm going to go back in the oven for an additional 30 minutes. So while we wait on our pork to finish up, we're going to go ahead and do our roasted carrots. So I have some soybean and olive oil mix here. I'm going to do some Italian seasoning, garlic powder, salt, and some black pepper. Okay, so I'm going to take about a tablespoon of the oil. A couple of shakes of my Italian seasoning, and you can season to your liking. I'm going to go with a little bit of garlic powder, some coarse ground black pepper, and of course some salt. We're going to give this a little toss, and we're just going to put this into our air fryer, 370 for about 15 minutes. All right, so we have removed our pork loin from the oven. I actually cooked mine for 1.5 hours. Okay, my stove was cooked a little bit slower, so I did a 1.5 hour. I'm going to take my drippings. So if you can see this pork, how it looks, honey, I'm going to let this rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. I started off with about a 3-pound pork loin. So I need to let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes so those juices can redistribute through my pork. Okay. Over here, I have my juice from my pork that I'm going to use to make me a pan gravy. So we're going to get over here to the stove and get started. All right, so to make my pan gravy, I am using the oil that I seared my pork in the beginning to get that nice crust on the outside before I put it in the oven. So to that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. And this is just an all-purpose flour. I'm going to allow this to mix together, cook down for about 2-3 minutes. And then we're going to add that au jus that from our pork loin after it was roasted into this and make a nice, beautiful gravy. All right, to my roux, I added a little bit of this browning seasoning. This just helps give it a little bit of color, make your gravy a little darker without making a dark brown roux. So we've cooked for about 3 minutes. So we're ready to go ahead and add in our au jus. So we're going to add in that jus from our pork. And honey, can you hear that sizzle? And this is going to make a beautiful gravy because you have all those flavors from that pork in here. Those flavors from those veggies, those onions, celery, and carrot. And it's okay if you get a little bit in there. It won't hurt. We're going to simmer this down till it becomes the consistency that we want, which is a beautiful nappe. And then we're going to be ready to plate up, y'all. Okay, I made some homemade mashed potatoes, like I said, and that is in another video, so just check that out. And I roasted some carrots, as you've seen, and we're going to be ready to eat with this pork. So we'll be back, ready to plate up. All right, our pork has rested, and it is ready to be sliced. So I'm going to go ahead and get into slicing this, honey. And it looks so delicious. I'm using my slicing knife, a serrated knife. And I'm going to use it like a saw. I'm going to use these tongs too because this pork is still a little warm. And we're going to slice some beautiful pieces out of this. I'll let you guys see the inside of this pork. Honey, do you see it? This is beautiful. Go ahead and slice a couple more pieces and we're going to get it plated up for us to eat for dinner. And you can slice this as thick or as thin as you like. But I'm going to go ahead and taste a little piece. Of this pork loin, honey. Cut me a little piece off that front. Go ahead and taste with y'all. But I also want to show y'all too. Let me get y'all in here. Show you how moist. Do you see that moisture? Honey, do you see the moisture? In that chicken, honey. I'm sorry, in this pork loin. So let's go ahead and taste this piece right here. I'm going to sample this. In the words of my father-in-law, honey, hush. This pork is on point. So I'm going to finish slicing this up so we can get plated up. All right, let me let y'all check out that pork one more time before I put it on this plate. This is beautiful, honey. This pork is tender, flavorful, and it's delicious. So let's get our plate made up so we can eat. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and put down our mashed potatoes. I'm going to get a nice heaping serving of that. I'm going to put them right there in the middle. Honey, when I say we about to eat, we about to eat. We're going to get our roasted vegetables, our roasted carrots. I'm going to throw a few of those on. Don't those carrots look beautiful? Beautiful carrots. Now we're going to go in here with a couple pieces of this pork that we sliced up. It look oh so good. Okay, let me turn it this way. I want y'all to see a little of everything. Okay, make sure the carrots are in place. And then, honey, we're going to go in here with this pan gravy that we made. And we're just going to drizzle it all over the top. Make sure you put a little on your potatoes as well. Beautiful, honey. All right. But you know what we always have to have? We got to have our greenery. So we're going to throw a little bit of that fresh parsley right over the top. And honey, we got dinner. Don't throw away those onions, celery, and carrots that you roasted your pork in. Those will make a great side dish as well. Add to your plate. Make this recipe, honey. This is a good Sunday dinner or a nice meal you can make when your family comes over. Just to say, oh, let me impress them tonight. It's a great date night dinner for you and your significant other. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notifications when I go live and upload new videos. Make sure you put all notifications. As always, Chef G is checking out. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.